You know that feeling when your flip-flops fall apart, but you're 10 minutes from home?
I do. How am I supposed to know myself if I'm constantly changing?
When am I ever going to have time to get a mammogram?
So many questions. Well, I just found out that my favorite drink contains an ingredient that is found in cockroach insecticide.
Oh, have such a good day.
Hello, universe. Welcome to our show. Have such a good day.
And boy, do we need to have one.
Why do I always do it in a sultry voice? It's just like such a strange.
Hey, Internet.
Welcome
to our
podcast.
Welcome to our sultry show. This is Have Such a Good Day. This is the podcast that Sarah Lane and Heather Frank do together
That's us.
Every week. And we
chat. We sometimes babble and ramble
do both of those things.
about culture, music, life.
The other day, a friend of mine was like, "Oh, that's so fun! You know, new show. What's it about?" And I was like, "It's a show about nothing."
It's a show about everything.
Because I think Seinfeld references are funny, but
the best.
But it's a show about life.
It really is.
And maybe you and I have to like figure out a little bit more like what is the show, but we have
A lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about, and I think that we've been sort of happy not totally pigeonholing ourselves.
No, definitely.
This entire time.
I think that we have themes that we talk about when we hang out as friends.
Yeah.
There's subject matter, and we go around in these long, circles and talk about all kinds of things.
Yeah.
We both like similar things in terms of
it's true.
TV,
we have
film,
a lot of
music.
similar interests.
We really do.
Yeah.
And I think that we have a lot of similarities in our lives. We seem to be kind of orbiting each other, for better or worse.
More to come on that.
Yeah, much more.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I was thinking the other day that in some capacities, depending on what we're talking about, it feels slightly like a group therapy session in the sense of like you guys and us, and we're like hashing it out. Like what's going on? What happened this week? What are you dealing with? The peaks and the valleys.
Peaks and valleys.
And the
sine curves.
Troughs and crests.
Troughs and the other thing.
Yes. Crests,
That's
I
the
believe.
opposite
That's
of
what it
troughs.
is.
Real quick, and I'm going off the reservation a little bit, but so, and stop me if we've talked about this before, but I was on a road trip over the weekend, and somebody had said, "You guys," to a group of people.
Sure.
It turns out that some women find it offensive.
I knew you were going to say that.
To be lumped in with you guys. No, to me, and I'm not trying to be offensive ever.
Sure.
However, I also am not easily offended myself.
Yeah.
And if somebody says you guys, and it's a group of people that might be men and or women, or even all women,
sure.
I don't think of it as you men.
I don't either. I definitely don't.
But some women are quite offended by this.
I think it's this Me Too stuff. I mean, I think women are I think people are much more sensitive. Everything's so politically correct, and everyone, so I understand that, but it isn't meant to be like, you're not going to say like, hey men, like, hey guys, it's just a figure of speech. Hey dudes.
Right.
You could even say, hey dudes.
Right, dudes.
I call you dude. I go, dude.
Oh my God.
Today, this is what happened.
All day.
Yeah. Dudes all day.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. It's one of those things where I'm like, I never want to offend anybody. So like if I say something that I could just not say,
sure,
and not offend people, I'll try my best to do that.
Sure.
But I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't either. I don't get why that's
similar
something
in that way too. Because
yeah.
I don't think I'm super sensitive to some of that stuff where I'm like, it's okay. Like I don't think it's meant in a derogatory, way. I don't feel that way. I mean, of course, I feel like if
I would say sometimes if I was, I don't know, fired up about something like, hey man, and I'm talking to you, like, you're not a man. But you know that I'm not, you know,
But
it's
that's
like,
an
it's
expression.
not,
Hey man,
yeah,
like
it's not something that is, you know, like a gender thing.
no, it's not. And then you say like there's terms like, and I get it, like they're based on old school mentality
Sure.
of like the way men ruled the world, like 2-man crew. And like there's a lot of those expressions that
Yeah.
are like, that's a little,
Okay.
but I don't, you know, the world was built a long time ago. And
By God.
true fact.
And on the
was
seventh
a
day, he
man.
rested. All right, so let's get into.
I
you know,
want to plug the bonus topic real quick.
Please
Just
do.
Before,
Please
just
do.
Before you go nuts, Sarah.
Okay.
So we had a three-way tie today, but we took the liberty, made the executive decision to choose if you could take a paid sabbatical for an entire year, what would you do? And this is, again, we will talk about this at the end of the show. This is for $5 and above patrons, contributors to our Patreon page. Have such a good day. Patreon.com/have such a good day. So yeah, that'll be fun. So stick around, or, you know, up your ante and pay us $5.
And for anybody who's sort of like, what's this all mean? Patreon is the way that we are funding the show. It is completely community supported, and we love you all very much. And thank
really
you in
do.
advance. And for anybody who is contributing $5 or more per month, not very much, bonus topic where we get kind of like raw.
We do. We kind of let it all. We there's not a lot of filters.
Correct.
We just sort of talk the real talk.
Unlike the rest of the show, where we're very buttoned
Totally
up.
lying, yeah.
Obviously.
All lies. So did you talk about your week, your road trip, or?
Well, I mentioned it briefly. So yeah, I took my dog Otis. Many of you who
sure you had a
follow
great
me on
time.
Instagram have seen his face. He's my new love, and I really love that dog. It took a minute. It took a minute for me to
You
love
seem to
him.
be doing better with him. That was a little crazy.
It was
first.
a little crazy, yeah. But we are madly in love, and
Cute.
I love him so much. Anyway, long road trip. A friend of mine from he actually didn't grow up with me. He's from somewhere else, but he happens to live nearby where I grew up in Sonoma County.
Oh.
So from LA, it's a 7-hour drive without traffic.
Sure.
It's a 7-hour drive.
It's long, especially to go up to like that area beyond San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's a long one.
It was a long one, and I was a little worried about it because I really wanted to go up there. I wanted my mom to meet my dog because she hadn't met him yet. I wanted my friends to meet my dog, and I knew that
They loved him?
There would be a lot of people there that, you know, like good friends of mine, San Francisco friends.
Sure.
Everyone loved him. He was the best. He did knock down a redhead kid at one point who was holding a Frisbee because he was confused and he thought that they were playing.
And you don't think it was his red head?
I don't think it was his
It
redhead.
wasn't a discrimination thing.
Well, the kid he'd cried about a lot of stuff
All right.
that day. So it wasn't
Maybe he
just my
deserved
dog.
it.
But there was a moment. But besides that, I have to say, I have done that in the I-5. Like anyone who knows, like San Francisco to LA, and you know, Sonoma is like another hour after
it's
that.
a schlep.
It sucks. It's not cute. You know, you're going through like cattle farms and you just sort of
Stinky.
like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I remember it being worse. I remember being like, I hate this.
Yeah, totally.
And honestly, it was fine.
I don't-
It actually went by kind of quick.
The 5 is pretty fast. The part that I don't like is the grapevine. There's something about the grapevine that just makes me feel like I'm gonna die. Like
Really?
Yeah, because it's so isolated and there's
Yeah.
nothing up there.
No.
But like, and you have to it's like uphill or it's like fully downhill, and there's so many trucks, and it's so desert. It's so dry.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It kind of, I think because when I moved back to LA this time, I moved back during that apocalyptic storm, that crazy storm.
I remember that.
And
you were
drove the
like
day.
Sarah, that was
No,
bullshit.
it was insane. I had a Mini Cooper at the time, and I had it was filled to the brim with my stuff, and I had my cat in the front seat on a tranquilizer, and we were going up over the grapevine, and I swear, that's I think why I'm so attached to Charlie, because my cat, because we really experienced something together. I mean, we were getting like batted around. I mean, it was anyway. So maybe that's where it's coming from. Is I had like a kind of a little bit of a harrowing experience on that road.
I haven't had a bad experience on the Grapevine. However,
there's no cell service. It's just
no.
I don't know. It's
and
like
sometimes
a dead
when
zone.
it's windy, it's kind of weird, and you're like in a forest, sort of. But yeah, it's very, very dry and deserty. Anyway, I had a really good road trip with my dog.
I'm so glad.
He slept. You know, like I would literally like, you know, my gas would, you know, get almost empty, and you know we'd, you know, pull into a Valero, and I'd be like, Otis, wake up, and he'd be like, oh, what's up? Where are we?
He's such a sleeper.
Total sleeper.
That's great.
It was
You
great.
scored.
It was really fun. Yeah.
That's
so anyway,
awesome.
it
That
was
sounds
you know,
really lovely.
it was a strange a strange weekend that I had, but it was really, really fun.
I'm so glad because you were very worried about it at first. And
I know.
It's funny how that
I was worried that like
Yeah.
he wouldn't be able to handle it. Like,
Totally.
do I have to like walk him like 4 hours in?
What's
and,
that
like,
expression where it's like you worry about stuff that may never even happen? You know, I mean, that's like the story of
I
our
don't know,
lives.
anxiety.
Well, yeah, you know, yes, I think we all suffer from that. I was actually going to say that I can't even remember my weekend, honestly. I think I had a good weekend. I think I did. I had a good weekend. But I was thinking about something that is, I think you can probably relate to. And that is, you know, we talked a little bit about the relationship stuff last week. And how, like, when do you know when things might be, you know, changing or, you know, when do you need to, like, sever the ties or whatever? Well, I was thinking about, I don't know if you do this, but, you know, everyone's very unique because they have their unique idiosyncrasies and their, you know, their little quirks or whatever. And I get, like, attached to those. And I think that those are the things that make it so hard to, like, sever your ties with somebody because
to consciously uncouple.
Yes, to consciously uncouple, because those are the things that make that person unique, and you know you're probably not going to get that with anyone else,
and you won't.
You won't,
and you know you won't.
No, you won't.
And I think you're right. I think
it's like silly stuff too,
and they're special things, but they're throwaway things.
Yeah, like stuff like,
but they're still special.
They are like it's stupid stuff like for example, you know, when someone's a really good driver and it like just there's something sexy about that. I don't know. That's so random.
That's so you.
I know, that's so me. And like I don't know, like the way someone walks or like the way someone talks, you know,
sure,
like
yeah.
It's very unique.
Yeah.
Maybe like you know, physical attributes, obviously, you know.
And it goes both ways.
Hair and freckles.
Hair and freckles and
Man.
the whole thing. I actually you know, no, I will never name names. But there was a guy that I was with years ago, long time, you know, long gone. He walked like a girl. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. He just did.
Did it bother you at first?
It wasn't a deal breaker, but I didn't like it.
Sure.
And when we broke up, I was like, yeah, and that motherfucker walked like a girl.
It's funny. You have to attach yourself to those things.
Yeah.
You know, the things that were kind of weird and awkward, because then it helps you get over it. Totally. Anyway, we're both on the upswing this week, obviously.
We really are.
So what are you listening to lately, Sarah?
Dude. Okay. The new Sheck Wes is amazing.
Why is it so good?
I don't know why it's so good. So this is, he's a rapper. He's real young. He's about 20 years old. He's Senegalese. Grew up in
Africa?
No, grew up in New York. I want to say the Bronx, but I think, and he's just great.
Well, I'm really excited. I need
He's
some new
actually
music.
signed to Good Music, which is Kanye West's album.
Yeah.
Kanye, not even going to get into that because I don't know. I don't even know what's
He's
going
been
on.
involved in politics a lot the last few weeks. So
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't want to get involved. But Sheck Wes, really good, great album. If you like bass,
man, I'm
if you
excited
like
for
bass
this.
and also just sort of like songs that like aren't really saying anything,
Like booty and
like Sheck Wes, bitch. Anyway,
so it's not really about the lyrics.
no, I would say not. He's also he's a very handsome man, and he actually is also a model when he's not a rapper.
What a life.
Right. Yeah. And you kind of look at him and you're like, you're tall and you're beautiful and the whole thing. So I think he probably has Harlem. That's what I was thinking of. He's from Harlem.
Got it.
But it's good. And it's new, and I think you'd like it a lot.
I need something to karaoke to this week. So thank you.
Karaoke.
I'm so into that. You know, hey, did you hear about this Banksy thing?
I did not.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, cool. Because it's kind of the coolest thing ever. He's just constantly tricking us. You know, he's such a trickster. Anyway, so
it's hard to believe like he can still pull these things off.
I know. I totally agree.
If anyone is like, who's Banksy? I don't know. Google him, and it's, you know,
he's a street artist that is essentially anonymous, which I thought this was very interesting. So do you know who he is?
I know what his art is, but no, I don't know who he is. No.
So essentially, a lot of people think that he's the Robert Del Naja. Naja, I think is the pronunciation. He's part of Massive Attack. Someone sort of like revealed something, and there's all these little connectors, and then like a lot of the Massive Attack art from like the albums is like kind of Banksy-ish.
But there's Massive Attack is like, I mean, they've been around a long time.
Well, but Banksy has too, and I guess there's this whole thing about like they're comparing timelines. Like, okay, they've got a lot of the same circle of friends, and there's all these like things that they have. People are suspecting that's who he is. I don't think that it has been confirmed, but anyway, it's kind of interesting. Some people think also that he's this other guy. He goes by the name of.
Who's the real Banksy? I love when you
Robin
Google search
Gunningham, which maybe is his real name. I mean, you know, people have multiple names.
A graffiti artist from Bristol.
Yeah. But see, they're also saying
out of touch with his family. Why would that be like a
so the thing that here's
Google
what I wanted to ask you though. I wanted to ask you, isn't that such a trip to be that anonymous where it's like this guy is like a world-renowned artist.
Yeah.
You know, he's like shaking stuff up all the time around the world.
Yeah.
But like, would you want to be that anonymous? Like, it's got to be weird because obviously he's got to have a circle of friends or his family. I mean, there's people he clearly hangs out with.
Yeah.
That's got to be a lonely life.
The whole Banksy thing, I think in the age that we live in where, you know, everyone can be knowable by anyone. Yeah. You know, if that person wants to try hard enough, you know, and I consider myself an internet detective. So the fact that Banksy is still like, who's that guy?
I know. It's a little
anonymous. I'm like, that's insane to me.
Is it a little hokey?
I like his art.
I do too.
What was that movie where it was like Mr.
Oh yeah, behind the
Mr. Remember
Mr. Happy?
No, not Mr. Happy, but you're on the right track. Anyway, it was a movie about that Banksy like produced where he like created that artist who was like, but it was all like a big joke, you know? That whole thing. And yeah, it was all in Los Angeles. But I thought that was, you know, sort of bordering on like, okay, now he's just making fun of us.
Yeah, that's the thing well, let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
So at Sotheby's, they were having an auction, you know, as they do at that place. So it's funny, there's actually a video on Twitter that shows what happened. So they were auctioning off one of the Banksies. That's the girl with the balloon, like the red heart balloon.
Right.
And
which has kind of become cliche.
Yes,
at this point,
totally. And I think he knows that too.
You're right.
I mean, all of it's very calculated. Yeah. Anyway, so when they started to auction it off, so you know, there's tons of people in the room. There's again this video if you want to check it out, and it started to self-destruct. So what he did is he put a paper shredder. He installed a paper shredder behind in the frame, so that when someone behind the scenes activated it, like there was some kind of activation, and it literally shredded the art. The art fell through the frame and came down and got shredded, and everybody was like aghast, like, what is happening? But again, he's
it's
trying
performance
to,
art.
It's totally performance art.
Yeah.
And he quoted on Twitter Picasso, something that Picasso said: "The urge to destroy is also a creative urge."
No.
So I thought that was kind of cool, but also just like come out from under the, show yourself. Come on.
Yeah, like after a certain point,
Yeah,
the
you've made your
novelty
point.
of you being like a
His
secret
anonymity.
is like no one really cares who you are anymore.
It doesn't really matter anymore.
It kind of it detracts from the overall message.
I think
in a way.
it was it's kind of like
I mean, if he was like Barack Obama, I'd be like, wow, that's crazy. But he probably isn't. He's probably somebody from Massive Attack. And I'm like,
he's Barack Obama. That would be insane. That would be insane.
But
it's kind of like when a star, like a celebrity or whatever, is like in the limelight too much, and people start getting exhausted from seeing them, and they have to just kind of back out. And I think it's the same thing with this. It's like, okay, like you've been brilliant thus far, but maybe it's time to, I don't know, maybe there's something new that you could do. Anyway.
Well, so are you going to bid on a Banksy auction?
Yeah, I think so. Once I make my first mil, or more like 5 mil, maybe 10 mil.
Once you win the lot.
Yeah, the lot. I wanted to say a quick thing about, we've been getting some really great emails from people. And we got a really nice one from a man named Richard today.
Hi, Richard.
And we are thinking about what you said, and we are going to have a little brainstorm about it, and really appreciate your feedback. And again, Sarah and I were talking about this tonight when we were setting up for the show. It really does. It's a warm feeling when we get a really nice thought out email from you guys. We love feeling connected with you.
Yes.
And we want more of you to reach out and talk to us. Our email's hi@havesuchagagoodday.com, and please don't be shy.
And not to go into too many details, but Richard was he had a critical eye for our current show.
Oh, he totally did.
But in a very constructive way for how the show might be better. And thank you, by the way.
Yeah, seriously, thank you.
Because again, we always say the two of us, this is fun, but we want it to be a community.
Yeah, we want you guys to be happy with what we're doing.
Exactly. And if you have ideas that we haven't thought about, even better.
Let us know.
Even better. Please do. Please
Totally.
do. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, except for the people who have not reached out. No, just kidding. Thank you, too.
Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, now what are you watching, Sarah? So it's like listening, watching. We're going through all of it today.
So I know that anybody who is familiar with me over the years knows that I love really bad television.
You do. You also look like good television.
I love good television
Sure.
and bad television. Yeah. Basically what I do, it's really funny because I don't have cable. So everything that I do is like through my Apple TV that's, goes through Plex. And, I have a friend who has a really great media server. And so it's like, I have a weird way of watching things, but I watch a lot of stuff.
You do.
However, I work from home and my TV is not on during the day because I can't work if my TV was on, right? So really what ends up happening is, most days, like I'll finally kind of like get done with all my stuff and it's 9 p.m. and I just want to put something on. Yeah. And that's why I watch trash.
Yeah, totally. Because you just want to be brainless.
Because at that point, like I just like, it's like eating a bad meal.
Yeah.
I don't want to think. Sometimes I do. Like, if there's a good show that I want to watch, I will. But I like garbage because
so what
I know
garbage are you watching?
Because I know I'm going to sleep Floribama Shore.
I've been seeing this on the Plex server, and I'm like, what the hell is that? That looks like so not something I would watch.
You won't like it.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful show.
I wonder why we both.
I want everyone on Floribama Shore to know that I care about them. Each and every one of them. There's 8 of them, and I really like these people.
Good people.
And it's all they're doing is like drinking and like barfing and like fighting with each other. I love this show. I love it. There's something special. Haven't seen that since Jersey Shore season 1. No, I don't.
Why is it that you like that stuff and I don't?
I don't know. I just don't. I don't think you would find it.
Am I too highbrow, or like I think I'm too highbrow?
Well, I mean,
I also don't watch sports. Maybe I'm missing some kind of chip.
See, that's the thing. Yeah. Because I like some dirty sports.
Yeah, you do.
All day. Anyway, Floribama Shore is great. Maniac.
I started watching it. Mm-hmm.
And?
I really like it. I really do. I think it's really cool.
Jonah Hill and Emma Stone.
Yeah, Emma Stone's great.
And I just started. So
how many episodes are you in?
2.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think it's it's a little bit reminds me of The Deuce in the sense that I'm not very attached to it.
Yeah.
I'm not sucked in. And so I keep forgetting about it, even though it is a stunning visual and it's really interesting and kind of sci-fi and weird, which is so up my alley. You know?
It is sci-fi and weird.
It is sci-fi and weird, which I love.
Yeah.
But there's something about it that I don't feel compelled.
It's bothering you somehow?
I don't know if it's bothering me. I don't feel sucked in.
Yeah.
But I like it. I think it's cool and I think it's different.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I mean, especially because, like I said, I watch a lot of trash television.
And this
that's
isn't
fun.
trash.
And there's television that it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And then there's something like Maniac, which is like actually very thought provoking.
It is. And it's interesting because, that's a Netflix original. I am watching 2 shows. Well, I'm watching one show and excited for another show coming out on Amazon, which I don't watch as much stuff on Amazon. I've seen a bunch of originals, but have you seen Forever yet?
No.
With Maya Rudolph and Fred Armisen.
No.
I know a lot of people don't know. Oh, there's a lot of like
so
billboards
already.
It's cute. It's really cute. It's like 8 episodes and there's this theme going on right now. There's a bunch of shows out there that are kind of about almost like an afterlife, Mm-hmm. At first I was like, God, this reminds me of The Good Place a little bit. Like in the sense of like, it's a bit of an afterlife situation. It's very different. But Alan Yang is involved. I think he does Atlanta. He's the dude that, worked with Donald Glover on Atlanta. It's very clever. And I mean, Maya Rudolph is wonderful. I think Fred Armisen is ridiculous. And
both of them.
It's a cute little show.
Big fan.
Cute show. I think you'll like it. You could binge it. And then also the new one from Matthew Weiner.
Which is?
The Romanovs, the Russian.
Ooh.
That's coming out real soon.
Ooh.
Creator of Mad Men, so we were big Mad Men fans.
Indeed, we are.
That's probably going to be pretty good.
Interesting. Elizabeth Moss was married to Fred Armisen.
I know,
and apparently it did not end well. And I don't know the deal. Like I don't know. I don't know either.
I don't know him, but I know.
I don't know either.
I hear he's a real womanizer.
But yeah,
like a real
Which is funny because it's like Fred Armisen.
I know.
Like, I can't even. How's that happen?
I mean, because he's so funny. I'm sure that he's just like.
Oh, I'm sure.
The funniness is sexy and
right.
But his characters.
But she doesn't have anything nice to say about him. In fact, I think she sort of talks about their time together as like hell.
I think that he cheated on her, but you know what? We're not friends. I don't know 100%. You don't know. This could be hearsay.
Who would do that to Peggy?
I don't know who would do that, and I don't see them at all. Like
no,
very odd.
No, I don't. Yeah,
it's hard to see Fred with anyone.
I hope that you are both
doing well,
spreading your wings.
Yes, I'm sure that they are.
Yeah, of course.
So speaking
and
of
Fred, I'm sure appreciates our support.
Oh, I'm sure he really does. He's like, yeah,
hey Fred,
Heather and Sarah, have such a good day.
Watches the show.
Speaking of spreading our wings, we're both moving very soon, and we happen to be moving like a walking distance from each other, which is
This is
insane
crazy.
in Los Angeles.
This is crazy.
It is totally nuts.
Full stop. So Heather and I right now, as anybody who watches the video version of the show knows, that sometimes we're here. We're in Heather's house now. Sometimes we're at my house.
Sometimes we share a computer because we're like one person. We're two dudes turned into one.
We're sharing a brain. Yeah. Hey man.
Hey man. Hey.
But
Hey,
but as it currently stands, we don't live close by each other.
Not really.
In fact, it's it's like whoever has to drive to the other person's house is like, it's a long drive.
It's like a 45-minute drive.
It's a 45-minute drive, and that's okay. Los Angeles is a big place.
I mean, is it?
Well, it is. Well, it's it's been okay, barely.
Yeah.
But it turns out that both of us, for, life circumstances, decided to move to a neighborhood where we're going to be like a block and a half away from each
neighbors.
other.
It's kind of insane.
So fucking thrilled. I can't even tell
on
you.
So many levels, though.
Yes.
Like
it's
we can
so nice to have.
go get coffee.
Yeah.
We can take Odie up to there's a little park nearby.
Yeah.
And this is good for you guys. This is actually great news for you because that means we're going to probably be able to spend that extra hour and a half that we'd be driving back and forth from each other's houses on the show to make it better.
That's
to
right.
answer your questions, to answer your emails. And so it's a good thing for you too.
I'm really excited.
I know, me too. I can't believe it. It's great. High five.
High five.
Yeah.
It's going to be a crazy couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, because we're both moving.
We're
in a
both
couple
moving,
weeks.
and there's just a whole thing. But it's funny. It's like I was talking to my mom about this the other day, and I was like, well, so I think like I'll move in with my cats. I have 2 cats and a dog, right? Like Sarah has a zoo. I bought a zoo.
She pretty much did.
I tried not to, and somehow I did anyway. But anyway, I think I'll move in with the cats and like have them like chill for a couple of days.
I think that's a good idea.
And board the dog, and then have the dog come. Just so like
I think that's a good idea because cats get really territorial.
And my cats are old.
Yeah.
And he's young.
Yeah,
And it's like
I think that's a good idea.
It seems like the right move, but like.
It's going to be
the
crazy.
details.
Oh man, it's going to be so. Speaking of the details,
the logistics. Yes.
I have a great book for you.
Okay.
It has kind of changed my life.
All right.
And the title of it is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And it's a book that a neighbor friend of mine, Kim, told me about, and she said she got so obsessive
Kim
about
Kardashian?
it. Yeah, okay, she's my neighbor.
Yeah.
No, her name is Kim Lessing. I'm not sure if she's listening, but if she is, hello, and it's great to see you. So she told me about this book. Well, I've heard about this book. It's like a New York Times bestseller.
Okay.
It's been around for a while. But she told me, she's like, I'm so obsessed with this book. I'm going page by page, and I'm like, cleaning up her house and, taking this woman's, the writer, her advice, and she's so obsessed with it. It is, I see what she's saying because I started reading it yesterday.
Well, hold on. So for anybody who's not following along, is it about like getting rid of shit?
Yes.
Or
so it's about like simplifying and downsizing but I love it because it's stuff that you're like, God, okay, for example, she has like a chapter on books. So it's like, why are you keeping so many books? Like, what is the reason? Everything has to bring you joy. Like you pick up something and it has to bring you joy. Like, for example, like I went through my books a couple days ago and got rid of a few. After I read that chapter, you'll see there's about 25 books that I took off that I'm getting rid of after reading the chapter. And I love her philosophy because it's kind of like, why are you holding on to these books? Like it needs to have kind of a significance for it to even, and once I read it, it was like the books kind of popped out. It was like the ones I'm like, I don't need that one. Why am I keeping that one?
Yeah.
Like I keep all my favorite books, the ones that I want to read over and over, like maybe my Anna Karenina and my, my Tintins and stuff like that. But oh man, and she does this thing on photos. So like I've got all these Ziplocs of like photographs from when people printed out their photos back in the day. And I went through those and I got rid of, a whole garbage bag of photos and letters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But her chapter on that is really interesting too. It's like, there's all these, she talks about an old person that has a shoebox of photos. Do they ever look at them? I mean, really like, scrutinize these photos. Do you really need these photos of this ex-boyfriend and these landscapes that, are they doing you any justice? You're going to change. You're a different person now.
Yeah.
Why hold on to all this stuff?
Right.
Anyway, I find it to be the way her writing style is really cool. That's,
it's funny when I was married, as you know.
You were. I always forget.
It was brief, but I was. And I paid for a real nice photographer to take a lot of real nice photos, and for whatever reason, it was like, well, this is sort of early days of like digital photography, but I was like, everything is like going to be like old school photography, right? Yeah. So, when the, the whole thing was sort of delivered to me, for what I paid for, it was all, it was basically like a, glorified shoebox of a bunch of photos.
Yeah.
I still have that shoebox.
I have never seen any of those photographs.
I don't look at them because it's odd. Oh, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But every time I move, I'm like,
old box.
Yeah, and it's a real nice box. It's the whole thing was sort of like packaged really nicely. And the photos are beautiful, and they're photos of you, and you were there,
haven't seen any of this.
My mother, and whoever, not just me. But every time I move, I'm like, Sarah, is now the time to just like
maybe it is
because they're not photos that they don't really resonate with my life.
Do they bring you joy?
No.
Maybe
they bring me, they're very heavy.
Why don't you just take a few that you like of maybe your friends and like more of a group thing?
Maybe.
Just take a handful of them and then, maybe you want to burn them. We could do a ritualistic burning in your backyard. That would be cool. Ooh. I have a friend who does that. She does an occasional, no, I swear.
Yeah.
Elaborate on that.
I happen to know a ritualistic burning friend.
No, my friend Allison. No, she actually invited me to one 2 weeks ago. It's like basically like you bring something like a photograph, like of an ex.
You're ready to.
Yeah, you're ready to just purge, and then you
mentally
burn it, and it's like a spiritual sort of healing thing. Okay. And I mean, I think that stuff works. I think that can help. Anyway, you don't want to lug that thing around, really.
Nah,
I would just take a handful of them.
It's always been one of those things where it's like, I've been carrying, I mean, this was, over 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So it's, and it's very, again, it was packaged up very nicely.
And I get that.
And it was, it's all sort of, not digital. And so it's sort of this like beautiful analog thing. And it's hard for me to get rid of it.
Yeah, I bet.
But at the same time, I never look at that stuff.
Well, no.
Because it makes me feel weird.
That's what I'm saying is like, she's kind of trying to say like, look, we're always changing. We're always evolving. Sure, keep some things from the past that make you feel good. But like, why lug all this stuff around?
Right. Right.
It's fascinating. In fact, I'm going to hustle to try to read this in the next few days because I'm having a garage sale on Saturday to get rid of stuff that I don't want. So come on by.
Come on by. Give Heather a great price. She has great stuff.
I do. I have good stuff. I mean, I'll probably get rid of my like lesser good stuff, but oh man. I think I think this is going to be a really good purge. I'm excited for like, downsizing, and I think it's going to be good for our minds.
Well, and Heather and I have talked about this a lot, is both of us are leaving really great apartments for smaller apartments that are great in their own way, but smaller.
Yeah.
And we both have to
adapt.
We have to shed some stuff.
Yeah.
That, I mean,
it's inevitable.
Everything in my apartment now will not fit in my new apartment. It just won't.
Yeah.
But it feels good.
It does feel really good.
It feels good to embrace that. Like just like get rid of the stuff that doesn't really mean anything to me. Like
I totally agree.
The book that you're never gonna read again, and why is it there?
Why keep looking at it? Because it's taking your mind space.
Yeah.
It's like it's taking,
and
I
it
notice
also
that
kind of keeps you in the past.
It does, and I even notice it because sometimes I'll kind of look around the room, and it's the whole thing about stuff. Yeah. Stuff sort of holds you back.
Yeah.
You're like attached to your stuff.
Oh my God, so true.
I know, and it's and I mean, there's it's nice to have comfort, and it's nice to feel warm.
Yeah.
And, you know, have your things around you. But I think that keeping it as minimal as possible, I really see how that's like a Buddhist like way of thinking. I mean, think about also so many people don't make we move around a lot. We change things up a lot, whether we do it on purpose or not. I'm not sure if we're doing it consciously, but we're doing it. And I think that a lot of people don't have that opportunity.
I've also friends of ours, because again, so many of us are, you know, we rent.
Yeah.
Or, you know, even if you are a homeowner, you know, you might move around a lot. It's like, we know a lot of folks who move around a lot. And I have definitely had friends over the years being like, yeah, I got rid of a lot of stuff. It's like been so healing for me, you know, where I'm like,
oh,
whatever. You know. But there really is something to that.
Oh, there is for sure.
And I'm happy. I'm happy about, you know, my living room being half the things that are in my current living room being in the next living room because, well, first of all, because half of them won't fit, but also I don't need that stuff.
You don't need
it. It was just wallpaper anyway.
Oh, totally.
You know?
Hey, do you read books? Like, do you have a
Kindle?
Kindle?
I
like,
can read.
But do you actually like pick up books very often?
The last time I read a novel was probably about a year ago. Not gonna lie, it's been a while. I'm a little out of practice.
Yeah, you're more of a laptop girl.
I'm a laptop girl.
Yeah.
I mean, I read a lot, but long form stuff.
Yeah, online though.
Yeah, long form
Do
stuff.
you read iBooks? Like, do you?
No, never.
All right. Well, you're never gonna understand the life-changing magic of tidying up then.
Well, I mean, if I read it, maybe I would.
Maybe if you can actually, would you crack a book if you got a book?
I love a good book.
Yeah, okay.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Okay.
I'm actually. It's funny. Tom Merritt, who co-hosts DTNS with me, Daily Tech News Show, we were talking about dead tree books the other day, and you know, like who has a Kindle or like or like read stuff on an iPad or whatever. And I am a little out of practice when it comes to novels because, again, I have a short attention span. I also have like a very short period of time, usually at 9 p.m. to like 11, where I'm able to not work anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm, like I'm just gonna fall asleep.
God, 9 p.m.
Yeah,
you're not really getting through a lot of shows at that point.
No, I'm sleeping through them.
Yeah,
which is why I like my garbage shows. It all works out really nice. It's like covering yourself in ice cream. But yeah, like we were both like, the kind of old school book thing is like still really nice.
It is nice. I actually like it. I mean, I have a Kindle and I love my Kindle. I love it. I read it all the time. But I also like a good book. I like, because sometimes it depends on the book. Yeah. I think there's certain books that I want to have in the physical form. And then other ones that I'm just like, it's kind of not like throwaway, but I don't know. I feel like there's certain ones that just make sense to be on the Kindle. But I do love to fold over a book, and I'm still a book lover.
And the spine, it's very important to me, like how the spine is treated.
Oh, totally.
You have to like hold it a certain way, and
and the crisp pages, and sometimes the
and the way it smells.
Oh, I love it. And this book in particular, well, I got the hardback, but I love the like font and like just the there's
all that stuff.
It's a tactile experience that I think a lot of young people are missing out on.
Millennials or whatever the
I know.
people
What
after
are they?
millennials.
What are they called?
Oh, I don't know. There's something. I've lost track. But you guys, you young kids, back in our day, we had, book spines.
Yep, we did.
I still do. Like at an airport,
Yeah.
if I know I'm going to be on a long like transatlantic flight or something, it's like I will just buy a book,
totally,
even if I don't really care about it that much, because I want it.
And I love, one more thing about our new neighborhood, because I explored a little bit the other day. There's a cute little bookstore, which is, when do you see a cute little bookstore? That's like pretty rare.
I like cute little bookstores.
I mean, other than like a Barnes & Noble.
Tell me more, Heather.
It's a cute little neighborhood bookstore. And there's another one that's a great bookstore that's over in Los Feliz, which is a hop, skip, and a jump. And there's 2 really cute artsy movie theaters. So we're going to have movie dates. That's it.
I'm like a snake.
Yeah, you are a snake.
No, that's that makes me really happy.
I know. I'm pretty excited.
We're both moving to a neighborhood that we've never lived in before.
Yeah.
And we're going to be so close to each other. And so
really
it's like,
fun.
it's just like.
And you guys are going to get a new background.
You are. Yes.
Very soon. In fact, in 2 weeks, probably.
In fact, this may be the last time that you see
my kitchen.
This kitchen in its form.
Yeah.
But it's okay. You're going to get a new kitchen soon. Well, yeah, I know. It's moving's the pits.
It is.
Let's
totally
be
the
honest.
pits, man.
You know what's funny? This has nothing to do with moving, but it's just like a really weird thing that happened. So I have a lockbox outside my front door because, if I go out of town, the cat sitter, that's where they get the keys and the whole thing. Well, one of my neighbors who lives in my building downstairs, real nice guy, and he works at a bar nearby, and, sometimes I pop in there and say hello to him. There was one point where I'm on a walk, I've got my dog, and I was like, holy shit, like, I don't think I have the key to the building. I don't think I have it. Oh, this is bad.
Shit.
And I knew that my apartment itself was unlocked just because I was lazy, but I'm like, how do I get into the building? And I'm like, I'm going to stop in the bar and see if Kai's working.
Borrow his key.
Because, same key. Anyway, and sure enough, he was there and he was like, yep, perfectly fine. Great. So, and when I, ended up going back home, I told him, okay, I put the apartment key, cause I sort of like propped up in the door and like got myself in and everything was fine. Here's the apartment key. Here's the code. Just, so you can get your key back. And he was like, great, fine. No problem. Well, when I went out of town this weekend, I needed to put my keys in the lockbox for my cat sitter because my cats were not going on the trip with me. And there were like a couple keys in there where I'm like, well, that's weird. Huh, interesting. Well, it turns out that my neighbor has been using my lockbox just because he's like, cool, lockbox.
How does he know
the code? Because I told him.
Oh my. That's hilarious.
Right. But I didn't put that together.
That's odd, though. Why would he?
So I sort of like put a couple of keys in my purse and was like, I don't know what's going on with that, but whatever. And so he got a hold of me and he was like, do you happen to have my keys? Like I'm like locked out of my, oh my God. Where I'm like oh man, like
went full circle.
Gone full circle. Like what I tried to avoid this entire time, you've actually done to yourself because you're using my lockbox. Like we're not sharing. So silly. You don't share a lockbox.
No, you don't. That is so
ridiculous. Weird, right? And I really like the guy, so it's not a big deal. But like I kind of had to laugh. Like, get your own lockbox.
We're all a little, like. I don't know.
Nutty?
A little nutty, I think. I think we're all like just
a little borderline.
A little off.
A little borderline.
Well, speaking of, should we wrap it up and get on to our bonus topic?
Let's do it. Thank you, everybody, for watching, listening, to have such a good day. And thanks to everybody who has been, telling friends and giving us nice iTunes reviews.
It's the best.
And we really, really, really appreciate your support. Patreon is the easiest way to support our show, which is community based. $1 a month is all we ask.
It's so much cheaper than a coffee.
I mean, really
it's like way cheaper.
It's way cheaper
like
than a daily coffee.
Cheaper. Yeah. Because the tip, because I feel the same way. It's like, gotta leave the tip.
Yeah.
They're staring at you.
Yes. But if for any reason you're not in a position to help us financially, we would love you to, if you enjoy the show, of course, tell a friend. Tell your mom.
Spread the word.
Tell your mom. Tell your sister. Tell your brother. Tell your
blast
uncle.
It out into the solar system.
Into the ether.
Yeah.
And
put a note in a bottle and put it in the ocean. I don't know. Be creative.
Exactly. Oh yeah, a little note in a bottle. Interesting. Yeah, Dock of the Bay. But for everybody who is a $5 patron or more, we will have our bonus topic in just a few. Until then, I'm Sarah.
I am Heather.
And have such a good day.
Have such a good day. Bye.